I want you all to imagine yourself in a grocery store, frantically picking up last-minute items for your pantry, when suddenly you hear familiar notes of your favorite song playing in the background. Instantly, your mind gets transported back to the memory associated with that song, and you think to yourself, what is this feeling? Well, let me tell you, that feeling, that is the power of music. The feeling of being refreshed the minute you hear your favorite song was a sense of refuge I found in music growing up. I started learning Indian classical music at the age of 4, and as any kid, I felt as if practicing was just another thing I had to do in order to go play outside with my friends. But my parents didn't want me to give up. They motivated me to practice every single day, and I am so glad they made me do that, because now I can't live without music in my life. Let me tell you a story about when music really saved me. Just last year, I was met with an accident in my physical education class, which caused my knee to get dislocated. And after meeting with multiple orthopedic surgeons, my family, the doctors, and I decided it was best to get a surgery for my knee. And let me tell you, that car ride was one of the worst car rides of my life. My thoughts and heart were racing a mile a minute, thinking about the worst possible outcome. But just as fast as those thoughts and feelings were racing through me, did a miracle happen. As we were driving down the road, my favorite song played on the radio, and it's almost as if a spark of hope lit up in me. I started singing the song, then my mom, then my dad, then my sister, and it brought back hope that I didn't know I could have in myself. And that's what really helped me get through the surgery. But moving on to the rehab part of my journey, I spent a lot of time just sitting on my bed, not able to move my leg. And the only thing that brought me happiness, other than mindlessly scrolling on my phone for hours, was listening and singing songs. It made me forget about the pain I had and helped me come to peace. And I think most of you can agree with me as well, especially in the teenage community. I mean, I don't know about you, but as I'm walking through the hallways in school, most people have at least one earbud in at all times. Like while walking through the hallway, listening to music as they're exercising or doing homework, it's a way for us to really escape the stresses of life. It makes us forget about our problems and helps us change scenarios. But don't take my word for it. I'm going to conduct an experiment with you so you can see firsthand how music can really change a scenario. I'm going to play a video, first without sound, so you see what we're working with. Okay, so now that you've seen the bass clip, I'm going to add some music, and I want you to reflect on how you feel. Okay, take a second to reflect on how that music really changed the scenario. Now I'm going to play the same video, but with a different background, and think about how different it makes you feel. How many of you felt that the scenario was so much more different compared to the first and second video? Yeah, for me personally, I felt that the first video made me feel that the scenario was scary and intense compared to the second video, in which it felt almost adventurous and exciting. And this is just one example of how the change in music can really affect our mindsets. I mean, for a lot of people, rap music is like fast and energetic, while classical music is calming, but multiple people might feel the different way depending on where they are. So now that you've seen how music can really change lives, let's ask a really important question. What if we don't have access to music? I mean, I bet most of you use your phones or computers or tablets to listen to music, or even musicians. You probably use really good quality violins or other instruments that cost a lot of money. But what if we don't have the resources or the money to spend in order to get that good quality? Well, one example that I have is the Recycled Orchestra of Katayura. They're a group of kids who formed an orchestra completely creating instruments out of garbage. Their community is filled on a landfill, and they use things like cans and plastic bags to create violins, drums, and other instruments in order to create an entire orchestra. And you might be thinking, how is that even possible? It's because they use their drive and knowledge of music in order to create something that can be created out of nothing. I mean, if you think about it, even clapping your hands or tapping on your desk is a form of music. This is just how we can use music and make them out of anything and help us change our lives. But just don't take my word for it. Let's talk about the science. In a recent study conducted by Harvard in 2020, 69% of the survey respondents periodically go to musical concerts and rated their mental health as excellent, compared to the 58% of people who went to a concert once and never attended again, or the 52% of people who never even attended a concert in the first place. In a similar study, over the past few decades, many scientists have had enormous breakthroughs about the brain while on music. They made people sit inside an MRI machine, and for those of you who don't know, an MRI machine is a medical scanning device that allows you to see inside organs like the brain. They made people sit inside an MRI machine and made them listen to music and studied their brain. And what they found was amazing. They found multiple parts of the brain light up at once. But what's even more interesting is how they saw a musician's brain. They made people play an instrument or sing while in an MRI machine, and what they saw is even more awesome. They saw multiple parts of their brain light up at once, and it almost felt like fireworks were going off. And that is just one way that should show how the brain is easily impacted by music. Many parts of the brain are being used at once, and we can use this knowledge to our advantage. We can use all this to be better in our academics or other extracurricular activities. And just so you know, the brain is a very influential part of your body that can be used to change a scenario or even a decision in just an instant. And knowing that music can impact these decisions is really important. And this evidence I presented to you today shows how we can use music to help make our lives way better. Even you can use music to create any scenario to be different and use your mindset to control what is going on. So now that you've heard exactly all my evidence and reasoning as to why music is important, I want you to imagine yourself back in that grocery store. You finish listening to the music and its impact still lingers. You feel lighter, more centered, and ready to face the world. That is the power of music. It can change people's lives, one note at a time. Thank you.